This is Swiss and Chips, your British guide to Switzerland. Hello, I'm Joe.
And I'm Simon.
And you're listening to Swiss and Chips. In case you're listening for the first time, I'm a broadcast journalist from the UK who moved to Switzerland 13 years ago. In 2022, I became Swiss, and I live with Simon, who grew up in a small mountain village in the German-speaking part of Switzerland. And together we have a tri-national daughter. Every few weeks, we talk about the highs and lows of moving to a new country, funny misunderstandings between the Swiss and Brits, and the dark and even the bright sides of living in Switzerland. So if you haven't yet joined the Swiss and Chips community for some additional content and member chat, you can subscribe for free on swissandchips.com.
Yes, exactly. And now we move on to today's topic. Do you want to announce it? It's the big moment in each episode.
Yeah, sure. Today we're going to be
talking about... Sorry, you said you want to do it.
You love it. Right, the main thing we're going to be talking about today is Swiss dialects and Swiss nicknames.
Yeah, basically nicknames. We asked on our website, our community, they could vote what topic they want to hear next. Yeah. And they wanted to hear about Swiss dialects. And we took, seeing as it's a gigantic topic, we took one specific part out of it, which is Swiss nicknames.
Otherwise known as Swick names.
Is it?
No.
Okay.
But from now on, yes.
Yes. So the Swick names, but we also got some user feedback, and we will obviously have at the end the Swiss word. But let's start with the user feedback.
Yes, exactly. So on our last episode, which was What Noise Does an Animal Make in Swiss German? If you don't know what we're talking about, you better go and listen to it. It's a very funny episode.
Quack.
See, what animal is that supposed to be? Don't go there. We've already done that episode. Okay, Catherine also thought it was funny, and she left us a comment. She said, this episode had me laughing. I can actually understand the poor trauma my husband must be going through. She explains, having grown up in South Africa, learning animal sounds in South African English and another sound in Afrikaans, then having to learn new sounds with British English, where our children grew up, and now in Switzerland, I'm teaching him the Swiss sounds. Your episodes keep me entertained.
Thanks
Smiley
a lot.
face.
Ah, thanks a lot, Catherine.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you found it funny.
Animal noises in all sorts of languages.
Yeah, nowadays I can imagine. A little bit. I also know in French they're different. Anyway, we've done that episode.
True, but let's finish here with saying thanks a lot, Catherine, for your comment. We'd love to hear your feedback. If anyone else has any feedback, leave a comment on our show notes on our website or write us an email at hi@swissandchips.com. Now, Swiss nicknames.
Very important topic.
You came up with it. So
yes, I'll tell you why, shall I? Okay, it's a topic that comes up quite a lot, basically. And it can even come up, pretty soon when you've moved to Switzerland. And we should say we're normally speaking about German-speaking Switzerland and from our own personal experience. So in the French part, we don't know much about that. I don't speak French, really. And you speak a little bit French. Anyhow, so people... Oui, huh? So people are going to be introducing themselves to you at some point, and it's going to go something like this, like, hi, I'm a Krigu. And you're going to be like, huh? And they're going to be like, yeah, Krigu. And you'll be like, what is that? Is that a name? Yes, it's a very common name, but it's a shortened version of a name.
Christian.
There you go. So how do those words relate to each other? Because, I guess a shortened version of Christian in English would be Chris, and you can see how we got there. But I can't see how anybody got to Krigu from Christian. So what's the deal? And this is the thing that happens in the Bernese area. In other parts of Switzerland, it's going to be different.
Right. I knew this episode was going to be difficult, and I will not have to say much about that. So you're at the right place if you're listening here. No, I'm sure there are other people out there in the World Wide Web who can explain much better the whys and,
the whys and wherefores.
Yes. I can only explain how it is from experience.
Yes, please do. That's the USP of this podcast.
Yeah. So, nicknames, I assumed, and I think it's the same everywhere in the world. They just develop throughout childhood, usually. And you get them because someone shortens your name. Or that's, I think, the variation A.
Yes.
So if someone is called Hans Peter,
as you
very
could,
long,
you could be in Switzerland.
You would shorten to Humpy.
What? No, you wouldn't. I thought you were going to say you shorten it to Hans. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Hanpy or Hampy?
Or Henne.
What? Are you serious now?
Yes.
Okay, these I've never heard. I went with Krigu because I think that's a sort of, day-to-day name you're going to hear. I've never heard these before.
Okay.
Hanny?
So
Hampy?
You just short them.
Make them short, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and shorten them, and make them short. And that's a normal process. You would do that in England as well if someone is called like...
Yeah, let's stick with Christian because I think that was a good example. Shorten, we could shorten that to Chris, but we wouldn't shorten it to like Kritty.
Kritty?
Because you said Hanpy, didn't you, for Hans Peter? Hanpy.
Yeah.
But why not just Hans?
Hans P.
Hans P.
It's the same, basically. You see where this is going, this episode.
So basically, there's no rhyme or reason, but there are just ways that things are done.
Yeah, and obviously...
And you got to respect them or suffer the consequences.
No, and obviously if you live here, you know many Hanses and...
I don't know any Hanpies.
Peters and Gregus.
Funnily enough, I know a lot
so
of
it's usually shortened like that. So it's usually like that.
Okay. I came up with a theory last night, just saying.
This is not going to go anywhere, this podcast.
No,
let's move on.
To my theory.
Sorry.
So, there's like the classic shortening from like Christopher to Chris. Okay.
Or Steffi. Or Steffi.
Don't go there. I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
Then you've got your version of, Christian to Krigu. It's not really shorter, but it's kind of a fun way of saying it. And I think that the equivalent in British English is to go from something like Jeremy to Jezza.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And we do the same with like Gareth and Gaza. And I tried to explain to you that Gaza would be a classic example because everyone knows who that is. But it turns out that some people don't.
Yes, but that's the one. That's exactly how it works. But then obviously there is a slight twist. And now we're coming to the Swiss dialect thing. Because this is true for a specific place, like Bern, with one dialect. But then if you go to another place, even only the Bernese Oberland, it's slightly different then. And you shorten the names slightly different. Mm-hmm. Like from English to Swiss German is different. And from Swiss dialect A to Swiss dialect B, it can be different as well. So, and basically, now we try my example. My name is Simon.
Yes.
Like Simon.
Correct.
And they call me in Bern, Simu. And in Adelboden, Simmel.
Simmel.
Yes. So it's not quite the same, it's quite similar. So that's exhibit A would be me. And that's variation A, shorten the name to something that is easier to say, like a slangish thing.
More fun.
Yeah. And then obviously you have the same thing. You call someone as a nickname because it developed somehow and you call that person any random name.
Then it's like a proper nickname.
Yeah. And that can happen in childhood or adulthood, at work, or...
If you work somewhere really fun.
Yeah, if something's funny happened, then they'll call you in the future that name. And if we come back to me, my sisters, they call me Vogel.
Which means?
Bird.
Why?
Well, because I
know why.
What's the name of that?
Whistling.
I whistle.
You were always whistling.
I whistled at home and they hated it, and that's why they call me Vogel.
Oh.
There you go. So that's how this works. And I assume it's the same everywhere.
Let's go with some female names.
Yes.
Because we hear a lot about like Krigu, for example. I hear a lot about Simu. But how do you shorten a female name in Bernese German?
Well, give me a name. Christine.
Yes, there you go.
Christine.
Yeah.
Like Christian, but Christine.
Yeah.
Grikke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Grikke, Griku, Grikke.
So you're adding the A umlaut?
Yes.
Okay. Good. What about like a Marion?
That's I'm not sure if that's a...
That would be a candidate for Maza.
Yeah, or Mare, maybe. But that's probably a name you wouldn't give an actual nickname because it already rolls from the tongue.
It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it doesn't. But yeah, okay, we'll go with that. What about Simone?
Or you can
Simone. What about Simone?
1 second.
Yep.
If it doesn't work, you can always end it with the tle. I think Mariondle would work.
Mariondle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or with the LA. LA umlaut.
Okay.
Like yours, Joe, is like chole.
Would that work?
Oh, it doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Not at all.
But it would work, yes. That's how it would work if you can't add anything. If you can't shorten it, you can extend it. Wow, we are in a very
we've
thin
walked
ice
into
now.
the murky soup here.
There are no rules, just to clarify.
Okay.
So you said...
I said Simone. What about Sim?
Sima.
Sima.
Yeah, Sima.
Good.
So it's Simu, Sima. U-A, U-A. Oh, man. Do you think anyone is still listening?
They may have switched off in the last 5 seconds.
Right.
But up until that point, it was going pretty well.
Okay, let's move on to yours.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes, we did already Jola.
Yeah, but in English, Joanne, you shorten yours to Joe.
That's
Joanne.
right.
Joe.
Yep.
And, I don't know what I wanted to say.
Okay, we were talking about shortened names. So let's take Joe, for example, because that's my name and it's a good one.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's very common. But here, it's not very common.
It's extremely uncommon, yes.
People are 100% baffled by this name.
Do you know a Swiss person who is called Joe? J-O.
Me?
A female.
I am a female.
You know.
No, I don't know another one. Do you?
No.
I don't know of any other.
Well, you. Right, let's move on. Let's,
Right, okay, so here's the thing that happens. Obviously, I'm introducing myself sometimes and people are all, hello, and I say, hello, and we're shaking hands, and they say, I'm Marion or whatever, and I say, hello, Joe, and they say, Joe, and I say, hello.
Yeah, this happened the other day.
This literally happened 2 days ago, and I didn't really notice it was happening.
Yeah.
And then you were laughing, and I think at that point you intervened and said, her name is Joe.
Yeah,
to
because,
the person. Because they were saying ciao, as in like, hello, ciao.
Yes, they thought you say, hi.
Ciao, ciao.
So they said hi, you said hi, and then they said hi back.
Because ciao was the Bernese way of saying ciao.
Yeah, so if you say, hi, Joe, that means hi.
This is awful. And that's happened quite a few times, but it always catches me by surprise. And people are, 100% baffled by my name.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
In coffee shops where they have to write your name on the cup, which I don't go to very often. In the UK, they can get it right most of the time, but quite often people are adding an E, although there's no E. And here they're adding like a Y, for example, joy. But it doesn't sound like joy when I say it. Never. But people hear joy.
Yeah, and the other problem is that if they only read it, they would read J-O, so yo. So maybe they would call you yo if they read it, because it looks like yo. Has never anyone called you yo?
Yes, but normally Spanish speakers.
Yeah, in Swiss German, that would also mean yo.
It's a nightmare.
Anyway, so
I need to work on my Swiss
off
nickname.
a little bit, but you see how this goes with Swiss German nicknames, dialects, different cantons, different nicknames. But basically, it's the same like everywhere, I assume. You just use them how they flow.
Yeah, use them how they flow. I like that. We can get that on t-shirts.
Can you say that?
No. Just go with the flow.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And also maybe another topic is when to actually use them. Can you always use them? Because some people, is that the same in the UK? That some people insist that you don't use the nickname. So someone would maybe come like, hello, I'm Simon. And then someone would say, hey, Simu. And then they say, please don't call me that. Please call me Simon.
Sometimes, I mean, I haven't met anyone who is, sort of like hugely offended by it. But, some names have variation, like Elizabeth, for example. And then you could be Eliza or Lizzie or Liz. So maybe someone's going to go, oh, are you a Lizzie? And they'll be like, no, I'm an Elizabeth.
Oh,
Fair enough.
I see. So it's very similar. I think that's a good time to move on to... Learning Swiss German with Swiss and chips. And today is a speciality.
Oh, yes,
Because
please.
I saw the other day a Reels on Instagram. and I will put the link into the show notes so everyone can see it. You haven't seen it before. I will share and show it to you.
Okay.
And it's a few women together. All are from a different canton, and they say one word, and each of them say it in their own dialect. They listen to each other and they laugh because they don't really understand what the others are saying. Not always, anyway. So they laugh about the thing, what happens, and I play it now and see if we can listen to it. And then afterwards, I will say each of them, and we will find out what they mean.
Bitschki, Gigachi, Bitschki, Gigachi. Götsch, Kupf, Aho, Bödel, Mürggel.
What?
Rittigampfi, Gireizli,
Rittigampfi.
Rittiseili.
Rittiseili.
So we can basically just see them, each of them saying the word, and they're not really getting what it means.
Got it.
And you can look at the video afterwards, the full version.
So they all say the same word in their different dialects.
Yeah.
And there are different words.
Yeah, it's 5 different words, but they all say the same word, everyone.
Yeah, okay.
And they are from like Bern and Schwyz and Zürich and Graubünden.
Wallis?
No, there's no one from Wallis. That would be also good. That would be...
Not that I don't like people from Wallis,
so
but they're
slightly.
the most difficult to understand.
Yeah, they're quite difficult, yeah. So the first one is Grübschi.
Which dialect are you giving me?
I gave you the Swiss Bernese Oberland dialect.
And say it again?
Grübschi.
Is it some kind of food?
Yes.
Like mashed potato?
I can give you a more specific term, Apfelgrübschi.
Ooh, it's the core.
Yes.
The core of an apple.
Yes, perfect.
Grübschi.
1 point.
Yes.
Next one is very difficult. Mürggel. I don't think you know that word.
Is it some kind of bird?
No, it's also food related. It's the first bit of the bread.
What?
This, the
end bit.
Depends if your bread is half full or half empty.
Yeah, but it's always the end.
It's the start bit or the end bit. No?
There's no such thing as a start bit of bread. It's always
but if you
the end bit.
You start with the end bit.
It's always the end.
How confusing.
Just like the sausage.
Okay.
Always has 2 ends.
So it's the Mürggel.
The Mürggel.
1 out of 2.
Yikes.
Next one, Rittigampfi.
Yeah, this one I know, I think, but I'm not quite sure. It's, is it a swing?
Yes, 2 out of 3. Fööf.
Hang on, what? Is that the...
That's the word.
Fööf.
Yes.
Means 5.
Yes, 3 out of 4.
Boom.
And Krydder.
Rubbish.
4 out of 5.
Yes.
Gloxi.
Hiccups.
5 out of 6.
God, I'm a living legend.
And now we go into, what do you say
Bonus
when
round.
it's like X-rated or something?
X-rated?
Yeah. We go deep down into the swear words.
Okay.
It's called goggle.
Poop.
Yeah, there you go.
Goggle.
5 out of 6. No, yes, 5. No,
Yeah,
6 out of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I already say all the 7?
I don't know. Time flew.
Anyway, here we have it. Grübschi, Mürggel, Rittigampfi, 5, Krydder, Gloxi, and Goggle.
And goggle, just
Yeah.
to round up that wonderful list. I'm literally, possibly one of the best people at speaking Swiss German in this whole country. What do you think?
Yeah, just right after me and Marionle.
Brilliant.
All right, good.
Thanks for listening.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and
Goodbye.
bye.
Bye.